Lesson E, that is 3. In the previous topic, we were talking about lesson 2. That was how to make simple present tense or present simple. Students, you know what simple present tense and what present simple mean. They are both same. We are doing some of the sentences using simple present tenses. Simple present tense means a very important tense that's usually used in our day-to-day life. Simple present tense is a very important part of the lesson that you use at school, at home, and when you talk about any issues with your friends. So simple present tense are important tenses. So what are the verbs that we use in order to use simple present tense? All are V1 or verb 1. So if you are using this verb 1 or simple present tense in your day-to-day life, you are able to interact with your teachers with no difficulties. You are able to ask different questions with your students and teachers too. You are able to discuss and express your idea in different issues. Therefore, simple present tense is a very important part of the tense. Today, we are going to see that it's a part of simple present tense. Part of simple present tense. Simple present or present simple. They are both the same. But our issue is talking about active and passive tenses. Active tense of simple present tense and a passive form of simple present tense. Before I'm going to give you some sample examples, I would like to give you some explanation about what active means, what passive means.
Active and passive voice. To understand active and passive voice, it can be helpful to understand the difference between the subject of a sentence and the agent. The subject of the sentence always comes before the verb. Subject, then verb, then object. For example, Shona cleans the house. The verb is cleans. We know that the subject comes before the verb. Therefore, the subject of this sentence is Shona. The agent is the person or thing that performs the action. We can think of the agent as the actor within a sentence. Can you see who or what is performing the action in this sentence? That's right, Shona. That means that in this sentence, the subject and the agent are the same. When this is the case, active voice is being used. In passive voice, this is not the case. Our original sentence has been rewritten here in passive voice. The house is cleaned by Shona. We know that the subject comes before the verb. The verb in this sentence is cleaned, so the subject of this sentence is the house. Now see if you can find the agent. Remember, the agent is the person or thing that performs the action. That's right, the agent is Shona. In the first sentence, the subject and the agent were the same. In passive voice, the subject and the agent are different. In active voice, the subject of the sentence performs the action. In passive voice, the subject of the sentence receives the action. When we change from active voice to passive voice, the subject becomes the object, and the object becomes the subject. Let's take a look at another example. The birds ate all the seed. The subject of this sentence, the birds, is performing the action. The subject and the agent are the same. That means this sentence is active voice. To change this sentence to passive voice, we switch the subject and the object. All the seed is placed at the beginning of the sentence. It is now the subject. The birds is placed at the end of the sentence in the position of the object. we also need to add the word by. We then use the matching form of the verb to be in combination with the past participle of the verb, which in this case is was eaten. All the seed was eaten by the birds. We know this sentence is written in passive voice because the subject is now receiving the action rather than performing the action. In passive voice, the focus shifts from the person or thing performing the action to the result of the action. For this reason, the agent is often left out altogether. For example, we could write, all the seed was eaten. In everyday writing and speech, active voice is more common than passive voice. But passive voice is important. Let's have a look at when passive voice is used. When the performer of the action is unknown or unimportant. For example, the bridge was built in the 1700s. We can see the subject, the bridge, is receiving the action. Therefore, this sentence is written in passive voice. The sentence has no object. Who built the bridge is not important in this sentence, or perhaps who built the bridge is not known. We often use passive voice when the performer of the action is obvious. Here's an example. Toby was promoted last week. Toby, the subject of the sentence, is receiving the action. Who performed the action, promoting him, is not stated because it's obvious it was his boss. We choose passive voice when the result of the action is more important than who or what caused the action. An example. Hundreds of people have had their homes destroyed by the storm. Passive voice focuses on the result of the action. Passive voice can be used when we want to be more polite. As an example, we haven't been served is more polite than you haven't served us. Read each of the following sentences and see if you can work out which are written in active voice and which are written in passive voice. Pause here while you work. Here is the subject in each sentence. Here is the agent or actor in each sentence. In these sentences, the subject and the agent are the same. This means they are active voice. These sentences are passive voice. Now rewrite each sentence, changing those in active voice to passive voice and vice versa. Pause while you work. The first, the manager served the customer. The second, Mark's phone was stolen. Because the agent is unknown, it's best to leave out the by someone, but you could include it. The third, dinner is being cooked by Julie. The fourth, she has seen the movie 3 times. And the last one, the winner was announced.
A sentence can be written in the active voice or passive voice. It's important to try and use both when writing. Active voice. This tells us what a person or thing does. The subject performs the action on the object. The sentence structure is subject plus the action plus the object. For example, Anna painted the house. The subject is Anna. The action is painted. The object is house. Another example is, the teacher always answers the students' questions. Ali posted the video online. Passive voice. This tells us what is done to someone or something. The subject is being acted upon. The sentence structure is object plus the action plus the subject. For example, the house was painted by Anna. The object is the house. Painted is the action. Anna is the subject. Another example is, the students' questions are always answered by the teacher. The video was posted online by Ali.
Active means, students, just to give more emphasis about the door of the actor. That means the subject, the one who is performing the action in a sentence. So in such a case, don't forget that you have to use different kinds of pronouns. This may be your pronoun or a noun, such as first person singular, first person plural, that is first person singular I, we, and second person singular and plural, that is you, and all third person singulars, including they, that's plural form, also a part of a simple present tense active voice. That's why they are all stands for referring to what? People, or the one who is performing or doing action in a sentence. But these pronouns also can be replaced by a noun form. See? And instead of he or she, you are welcome to write a name of your friends, or a name of your teacher, a name of any person. So they are both used interchangeably without change of the mood of the active tense. Therefore, doer of the action. Give more emphasis to the subject. The subject gives more emphasis. Or doer of the action. Doer of the action. With that, a person. The subject gives more emphasis when you talk about simple present passive. But if you want to talk about the one who receives the action, the receiver of the action, the receiver of the action gives in this form. Which form? In the passive form. We give more emphasis to the receiver of the action. So it becomes what? Passive. Every sentence which is consisted of active, it is three forms of the structure: the subject, the verb, and the object. But when it comes in the case of the passive voice, we'll give more emphasis about the action. I would like to give you some sample examples here now. Look at these sentences. Sentence 1. They grow vegetables in the garden. Look at, they grow vegetables in the garden. Where do you think is a verb? Where do you think is a subject? Definitely. This sentence is consisted of three parts. They grow vegetables in the garden. They is subject. Grow is a verb. Vegetables, that is an object. With no object, you can't form a passive tense or passive simple sentence. So now, let's go and change this sentence about what? We don't want to talk about the door of actor. We give more emphasis to what? To the vegetables. Our concern is the vegetables. So now, when it comes in the case of the passive construction, it can be written in such a way. Which one is the object? The object comes here now. This is a passive form. Vegetables, they are plural in number. Good, they are plural in number. The vegetables are grown in the garden. By whom? By them. Now the subject goes the last position. That's why our concern is not talking about the door of the actor, rather the action that is taking place by whom? By the object. So vegetables are grown in the garden by whom? We don't care. We don't mind about who is growing those vegetables. It's not our concern. What our concern is that the vegetables are properly grown in that area or not. That's why it is a passive form. The passive form is like this. So how do we use these are? Very interesting question. Come on, students. When you use passive in the simple present tense form, don't forget that these verb to be forms. The verb to be that are commonly used are in such a way. Am, is, are, and then V3 form. This has to be the structure so as to make what? A passive voice. Therefore, this grown is, you are welcome. Now the V1, the V2, and the V3. Here now, grow. You are welcome. You can get this verb here now. That's why, because we are talking about the active things, the active voice. Grow is the V1, and then V2 form that is grew. We don't bother about green. And then the V3 form become that is grown. So in such a case, the V3 form usually takes what? V3 form. Be careful, students. Don't use V2. Don't use V1. In the case of what? Passive construction only. Right? Let me give you that. Another example again. Example 2. Aryam prepares. Prepares his food in the kitchen. Aryam prepares his food in the kitchen. Aryam, see now Aryam, this is a subject. The verb is here, it is. It's a V1. Here it is. It's food, as it's an object. In the kitchen, what does he prepare? In the kitchen. So it stands as an object. See? And then Aryam prepares. Don't forget that here is S. That's why, because Aryam is third person singular. Therefore, this can be written in such a way. In the case of passive construction, his food wet is, and then prepared. Is prepared where? In the kitchen. In the kitchen. His food is prepared in the kitchen. This is a passive voice. That's why, because food is uncountable noun, and then it takes that is, then his food is prepared in the kitchen. It becomes active voice. See now, don't forget that those verbs to be's, is, are very important. Let's go and do another sentence. Jonathan, washes his lunchbox. Jonathan washes his lunchbox. Again, its passive form will be what's that? Jonathan is a subject. Here it is. Wash, that is a verb, still now. His lunchbox stands as an object phrase, right? So, possible. Therefore, these are all totally objects. So, his lunchbox is washed. His lunch box is washed. By whom? By Jonathan. His lunchbox is washed. If you are welcome, you can write by Jonathan. Otherwise, if you are writing like this, it's welcome. Still now it is a passive voice. I'm going to write again another sentence. Come on. Good. Tawfiq deliver the package on time. Tawfiq delivers the package on time. It's a kind of product. Package, a kind of product, different kinds of items, in order to dispatch for all shop from you. So Tawfiq delivers the package on time. The package is an object. Yeah, it's an object. Here is a verb, and now there is a subject. So you are welcome, just starting from the package and possible to change into what? Passive voice. So this can be written in such a way. So the package is delivered on time. By whom? By Tawfiq. These are the forms. So, while you are talking about the action, okay, that's performed by someone, don't forget that you did passive present tenses. Okay, students, thank you so much. Hopefully that you understood what we have discussed so far about active tenses and passive tenses. I'm sure that it is clear how to make active tenses and how to make passive tenses based on the structure that I gave you previously. Next to this, I would like to give you some of the activities that you are going to change into active to passive forms. Change active tenses into passive. Number 1. Khadija throws a ball. I am cooks delicious food. Halima cleans a room. The director calls the teachers for meeting. The parents award their children. Let us look at these 5 sentences. You see, in every sentence, in every active tenses, it is consisted of with different structure. Here it is a subject, then a verb, then an object. Ram is a subject, cooks is that is a verb, and delicious food that is an object. Halima is subject, cleans is a verb, and then a room that is an object. The director calls the teachers. The parents award their children. It's an object. Therefore, so all these are talking about the door of the actor. In short, what we call them, they are active tenses. Shall we go to change into passive form? Good. Let me give you some chance to you. Have you done it? That is interesting. Very good. Very good. That's it. So, I'm sure that don't forget these forms. These are very important forms to change into what? Active form in the case of what? Passive form structures. These are the forms for passive. That's why you are talking about, students, you are talking about the actions. What is performed by the subjects. Let's go to the first one. Good. Have you done like this? A ball is thrown by whom? By Khadija. A ball is thrown by Khadija, or by him also possible. Acceptable answer. And then Aryam cooks delicious food. Who prepares delicious food? Aryam. That's why we are talking about present form, the present active form. Whereas in the case of passive form, delicious food is cooked by whom? By Aryam. Hopefully that you will do the rest of the other questions, 3, 4, 5, and just discuss with friends. Hopefully, till we meet next time. See you. Goodbye, students.